It is the Lions and the Cowboys in Arlington, Texas. This is what it's all about, folks.
Do you feel like the Lions have the best offense in the NFL?
When you look at the talent, it ain't even close.
I'm excited for this one. It's the next one in front of us. They've had our number for a while, and we're going to get their best. All right, we're going to go out there. They're back home. I think it'll be a special game.
All right, let's go. Bring it up. All eyes on Detroit tonight. It's time to put everybody on notice. Who runs this ball?
Looking, Smith, gonna get hit, gonna go down. DJ Reader looking to throw. Jared looks, throws a man wide open. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Jared gives it to Amon-Ra. He's gonna throw it to Jared. Jared, go! Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Smith takes the snap. Intercepted by the Lions. Kirby Joseph, who just ended this ball game.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Lions pregame show right here on Woodward Sports. We're doing football better than anybody. My name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you with us. I'm in San Francisco. Sean Beligian back in Birmingham. We got JB Smoove in the mix. Pete. We got everybody. You guys know how we do it. But, Sean, contrary to popular belief, there is still an NFL team in town, and it is the Detroit Lions, and they're playing the Cowboys today.
Love it. And you know what, Neil? I don't care what anybody says. I'm not saying that the Dallas Cowboys are a big rival with the Detroit Lions. I'm saying there's a heck of a lot of hate for this Dallas Cowboy team, for a myriad of reasons. But let's face it, things that have happened not only in the past in the playoff, but certainly everybody, I don't care what the players say as well, Neil, everybody remembers what happens last December, man. You can say that we're not thinking about that. I don't believe you. Sorry. I'm not going to go as far as to call you a liar, but I am going to say I don't think you're being honest. Everybody remembers what happens down there last December, and it's time to exact a little revenge today, and that's exactly what I think the Lions are going to do. This is a beat-up Dallas Cowboy team. Go out and beat the hell out of them, man.
No, Sean, and you're exactly right, too, because you and I were talking about this before we went on air just a couple minutes ago. Anytime there's a streak attached, there's a stigma to it. There's no question about it. But we'll get into all of that. Make sure you jump into that Woodward Sports chat thread. Get subscribed, like tens of thousands of you already have. Get your thoughts in there. And, Sean, I do want to kick it off with this because Doughboy Steve in the chat brings up a very, very good point here. I'm staring at that six-pack in the fridge, wishing it was game time. But then he says later on that six-pack will never last until 425. I may have to have a case delivered. And Sean, look, this is the New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame show here on Woodward Sports Network. And look, if he's got a six-pack of taller, the long drink in there, it's never going to make it.
Well, this is where I wish Neil Rule was in studio because he did the baller move a couple weeks ago. He put the fist down and said, I'm going to get that no matter what you say. Neil found a way to kind of pop the lock on that door and bring that taller out. So we need a baller like Neil here to do it. No, you're absolutely right. It's a calm before the storm. The 425 start is great once you get to 425. But as Tom Petty once said, the waiting is the hardest part. You want to go out there right now, and you want to do what you have to do to get this game going. Because yes, again, I think this is personal, Neil. I really, truly do. I think this is personal. I think this is a situation we all remember what happened. Lord knows we are all subjected to the constant Dallas Cowboy chatter. This is a franchise that hasn't done anything for 30 years. This is a franchise whose general manager happens to be their owner, and he's the only one that's not in on the joke, and yet people still persist to talk about the Cowboys as this viable threat year in, year out. I want the Lions to flex the muscle today. I want the Lions to go down there and do, quite frankly, what everybody, including Vegas, expects them to do.
Woodward Sports chat thread, by the way. And, yes, we have eyes on the Chicago Bears-Jacksonville game that we always, it falls in line with those games we subject the fine people of England to every single week because the Chicago Bears have 21 feet of offense in the first quarter and 15 feet of penalties. And you notice how I changed that over to our system of measurement, because I think it sounds better when you talk about the big bad Chicago Bears, big bad Caleb Williams, Sean. They have 21 feet of offense. That's pretty on brand.
Yeah, it is, and there's no doubt about it. Listen, shocker, right? Neil, you and I talked about this before the season started. Man, rookie quarterbacks more often than not are going to do as rookie quarterbacks do. There's going to be some highs and there's going to be a hell of a lot of lows. This year you are seeing, an exception to the overall rule. You have to give Jaden Daniels his flowers so far for what he's doing in Washington, and it's an exception. But more often than not, shocker, rookie quarterbacks are going to struggle in this league. It is a time-honored fact. It will never change. There might be an exception here or there, but more often than C.J. Stroud, you got to give him some love. And as I mentioned, Jaden Daniels in Washington right now. But rookie quarterbacks, Neil, 2 for 3 for 3 yards. That's what Caleb Williams is doing right now.
9 feet, Sean. You got to take that. You got to take that. That's rookie QB development.
DeAndre Swift,
chat,
2 carries. Go ahead.
No. In the chat, by the way, Jackson Job, Neil's hotel room has 2 furnaces. It is a very nice hotel. I will say that. You do get pretty nice hotel rooms in the NBA. It certainly is. John effing Lord, Detroit versus Jerry. And Sean, look, all right, I've waited long enough. As KG would say, it's time for me to get my shit off. You brought it up, but I don't think you gave it its proper due. The fact of the matter is this, Sean. The Dallas Cowboys have been irrelevant for 30 years. Boys to Men was at the top of their game the last time they were in a conference championship game. These are things we don't have to worry about here in Detroit. We've been to the conference championship game since, high definition television. And Sean, look, my mantra doesn't change about the Lions and about this week-to-week thing that goes on, because I think the Lions are in a different stratosphere now. What changes to me a little bit for this one, because I'm the one that says it first, when you're in this air, you don't care how you look. You care about winning, and you care about winning your division and getting home playoff games and stuff like that. And the style points thing, that doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't apply to this football team. But I would be disingenuous if I were to sit here and stare into this camera and say it doesn't mean a little more to me, Sean, because of that, because of the shine that Dallas gets, because Jerry Jones, for some reasons, held in high regard, even though he's taken one of the great franchises and torpedoed them into the ground. So yeah, Sean, this segment here is called The Vibes. My vibes are this, Sean. I do want a little pain. I do want a little punishment. And this will be the only time, Sean, that I say this season. For this game, for me, it's a little extra. This is the only one. Grant me that grace, Sean. Is that okay for me to want a little pain and want a little vengeance?
Oh, absolutely, positively. There's no doubt about it. And Neil, it is, again, made worse because they are constantly crammed down our throats. And listen, Jerry Jones, give him his flowers for being an incredible businessman. He is. He's an incredible businessman. He has no business being a general manager. The Dallas Cowboys, I mean, again, it's 1996, guys. They beat the Packers in the NFC Championship. They went and won the Super Bowl 30 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And since then, it has been failure after failure after failure. And Jerry Jones consistently trying to be the smartest man in the room, trying to tell you that he's smarter than what all the scouts are saying, and Quincy Carter's our quarterback, and he's going to show everybody how great he is because I'm so smart. It's the same thing over and over. They can't run the ball. Honestly, Pete, and I might be better at linebacker than the guys who are going to trot out there today. And I don't want to hear anything about their beat up. Wham, wham, wham. Get out your little violin. We've had to live that for years. How many times did we go through that going into a week where the Lions were already pretty thin in some of the lean years in terms of depth, and you get a couple injuries and you're like, oh my gosh, what are we putting out there? Nobody had sympathy for the Lions, and I hope that the Lions have no sympathy today. Go out there and do what you should do to an inferior team and pound them. I don't care if it's in Jerry World. I don't care if it's in Old Texas Stadium. I don't give two craps where it is. Go out there, do what you have to do. It's a business trip, man. Take care of business.
No question, Sean, and that's really where I'm at with it, because they are an inferior team. Like, I know that we're led to believe otherwise. for whatever reason. And I know that they gave Prescott a ton of money because they have to. And they gave him more money than they had to because Jura's so smart, right? Because and just looking at the construction of this Cowboys team, and Jerry Jones, there was never a world where they weren't going to sign Dak Prescott again. What were you going to do with Micah Parsons, getting to the point where he's nearing the end of his rookie deal, and CeeDee Lamb at the time going back and forth on whether or not he was going to sign? What were you going to do, Jerry? Were you going to wait? We'll let Dak Prescott walk, and we'll draft somebody in the draft, and that'll show everybody. There wasn't a world where the Cowboys weren't going to sign him. And we can laugh at the numbers and all that stuff. And I'll give Rain his due, I guess. He was second in the MVP voting last year. That's probably a little overly inflated. But the bottom line is this. They're a trash run organization. Trash. Like all those slings and arrows we took for the Lions for a long time, justified. No doubt justified. You lived through it as well. You suffered through it. But with that being said, man, I just want that out there. That they are a trash run organization because they are. And you brought up the running back spot. They can't run the football. They don't have a running back. They bring Ezekiel Elliott back on year 38 of his NFL career. And that's what it is with this team. And that once great, once proud offensive line, it's got some holes in it now. And look, we're 12 minutes into the show, Sean, and this is already coming out of me because because I get angry about it. I do. With the Cowboys, I get angry about it. And you say triggered or whatever term you want to use, fine. Then I am that because I am a Lions fan. They suck. The Dallas Cowboys suck. And it's time to treat them as such. Sean, what else you want? They suck, man. They do. That's the reality. You can tell me what you think. I'm telling you what we know.
Well, and part of it is if you're Dak Prescott, you should thank the good Lord above that it was Jerry Jones that selected you, because Jerry Jones has a very difficult time admitting that Jerry Jones was wrong. Taking Dak Prescott in the fourth round, what was it, 135 overall out of Mississippi State, is once again Jerry Jones' unique way of telling everybody he is the smartest guy in the room. And so he's going to give him every opportunity to fail. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying I don't think Dak sucks as much as people makes it out to be. I don't want Dak Prescott as my quarterback. I don't. I don't want Dak Prescott as my quarterback. And Neil, you know what it is for guys like you and I, and the younger generation maybe can't relate to this as much, but for guys like you, me, Pete Spivak, there is, and this is where my hatred for the Bears comes from. I openly admit that. Jealousy. There is jealousy. Because in the early 90s, everybody and their brother, including Pat Summerall on that broadcast, John, I think we're looking at the two teams of the 90s, right? And you're sitting there with your pants around your ankles going, we finally made it, we finally made it. And then the Dallas Cowboys go and win 3 Super Bowls and we don't win another playoff game. Yes, I take that personal. Yes, it's not Dallas' fault they had success. I'm being a little bitch about it. I openly admit that. And so now it's time to come back the other way. It's coming back around again. This is for the people with the star. And we're going to pound them.
No, and then that is it. That's the bottom line. Touchdown Bears in London, by the way. Cole Kmet on the catch from Caleb Williams. So
he showed you. He showed you, Neil.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's laughing. He's laughing. He's smiling on the sideline right now. Cool 21 feet of offense in the first quarter. And it's fitting, Caleb, that you're playing against Trevor Lawrence because you guys are the same guy. So
wow.
What?
I love it.
Am I wrong?
No.
When Trevor was a freshman,
what color are their fingernails today?
Let's be honest. When Trevor was a freshman, do you remember the people out there, well-educated people, that said Trevor Lawrence would be the number 1 pick in the NFL right now? Like right now, as a freshman. I mean, it is insane when you think about it. And he's just a guy. Just a guy. That's all he is. He's just a guy. And, Bears and Jags, huh? Boy, I'm sure they're going nuts for that over in jolly old England.
But they absolutely are. Chuck Brewer, Neil has a long day today. Early early for us and a late night tonight. Does he catch a nap today? There will be a nap in the future, Chuck Brewer. Roughly be, let me see here, at 7:15 a.m. here. We'll be done at 9 a.m. here. I will be back asleep again by about 9:20 at the latest. So, yes, we certainly will do that. By the way, tonight, Pistons, Golden State Warriors, 8:30, WWJ, 9:50 a.m. So feel free to tap in. Pistons Sean, look, it's the preseason. I understand that. But I will say this. In terms of the NBA, defensive rating third in the preseason in the NBA, and they played the Suns twice in the Bucks. I'm just saying it looks different, Sean. Is that fair? It looks different.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And now, you know me, Neil. I'm going to be fair to the process. I put nothing into exhibition in any sport. I just don't. I never have. I never will.
Fair.
I think life has proven it out that way. But Neil, there are some things to be optimistic about. You know, now when I say optimistic, I'm not saying that they're going to go on some crazy run and we're looking at the playoff again or anything like that. But I think I like what I'm hearing, Neil, out of this regime. I don't think they're sugarcoating anything. I think they're doing their due diligence. And so for that, it's like, okay, you know what? Let's see what we can do. It shouldn't be this difficult to turn a franchise around. And I think these guys are going to do the job.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, way early, but I'm just saying the eye test, as we say, the eye test looks different. Woodward Sports chat thread, Paul Thomas, disagree respectfully. Cooper Rush is cheaper and not much drop off from Dak. Look, Paul, you're a valued member of the Woodward Sports community and Big D Energy, the Lions pregame show. But yes, there is. So you're telling me Cooper Rush is potentially second in the MVP race in the NFL? Like you see that for him? See, Paul, that's where I'm going to have to get off the highway with you. But again, no. Just kind of breaking this down, and this is the Lions pregame show brought to you by New Holland Brewing Company, presented by Sabbath Coffee Roasters, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. You see Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey all over the town, namely Keyworth Stadium. Shout out Detroit City, locked up the playoff berth yesterday, got the draw. Sean, let's do this real quick then, because it's a topic of discussion in the chat. I know this is the Lions show. Can you give me a minute? On the Red Wings, because I was told it's over after opening night and that they should have folded as a franchise. Give me 1 minute and we'll get back to the football, I promise. But the people want it, so you're here, so go ahead.
I think, I was just talking about this with Broder, I think that there were some pretty serious conversations about play in their own zone because, Neil, you can't sugarcoat it. Flannel Sam and I talked about it on Friday. That was ugly. That is not a good Pittsburgh team. And it wasn't. I know the tendency is to just blame goaltending all the time. I thought that they were terrible in their own zone across the board. I think there was a very stern talking to that unit, and that unit took it personally, and I thought they were a hell of a lot more responsible in their own end. And props to Cam Talbot. I mean, if you take a look at Steve Yzerman's MO, he's found a way to get that veteran guy that's been there and done that, and he's had some success. He made an incredible run with Dwayne Rollison when a lot of people thought that Dwayne Rollison was done. It's going to be okay. It's fine. I know that people want to put the cart in front of the horse. If you're one of those guys that want to put the cart in front of the horse, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be right this year. If you think the Detroit Red Wings are need to be a legitimate Stanley Cup contender this year, you're going to be right this year. I don't think they're going to be a legitimate Stanley Cup contender this year, but I think you're going to continue to watch this team grow. And I think they took a big step, going out and doing as they did last night and pitching the shutout after looking so piss poor. They really did. There's no other way to say it. After looking so piss poor in game number one, that's a good sign. So we'll see what comes of it from that.
All right, so there you go, guys. We did it. We touched on it. I let the expert opine on it. So there you have it. My response to that real quick is, Sean, wow, they get beat down by Pittsburgh, and then they come back and they blank Nashville. It's almost like they're about a 500 team.
It's amazing, isn't it? Wow. Hey, and I'll tell you, Neil, I'm going to keep saying this, man. Look at this division. Look at this division. This division is not going to be easy. And I think that's going to make things very difficult because there are a few teams that are kind of in the same spot that the Red Wings are at, where there's a lot of talent there, but there's still a lot of holes in the roster. And so that's going to make things interesting forget just this season. I think the next few years is going to make things very interesting, and I know you're high on the Devils, as you should be. And when these teams have a lot of youth, look, there are multiple teams in the National Hockey League right now that are in the same spot that the Red Wings are at, where they've done a good job of bringing in the youthful influx. Now we get to find out who's going to make it, who's legit, who is not legit, and I think it's an exciting time. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Jump in that Woodward Sports chat thread. Get your thoughts in there. Subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Let's do this. Let's take the first break. We come back. We'll get to more of the chat. Don't worry, too. We're going to have Sean Belizean's matchup to watch. We'll take a spin around the NFC North. One of the teams in action right now. The GOAT, Caleb Williams, awoken from his slumber in the second quarter. So we'll break that one down as well. We'll go around the NFL. Pete's 5X in the building. He'll give you his fantasy plays, his prop plays as well. And we'll do I haven't confirmed this with JB. The opponent flashback, by the way. We'll take a look back at a previous Lions-Cowboys matchup, and then we'll take you to the 1 o'clock kickoff, where you guys can fire up that red zone and get to Caesar Sportsbook and be the degenerates you want to be on a Sunday, because it's what we do for football, everybody. We'll be back with more of the Lions football pregame show.
All right, everybody, what do we got going on here, JB? We got the post-game show. That is right, everybody. You can watch the New Holland Brewing post-game show and the watch party here with the heavyweights live from Hayes Social at Hayes Road and 21 Mile in Shelby Township. The fellas go live just before kickoff every Lions game day, and we will catch all their reactions live on Woodward Sports. Come eat, drink, and cheer on the brand new Lions at Hayes Social. Brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller, your local long drink, 1800 Tequila, Siroki's, and Sabbath Coffee. And after the watch party, it's the New Holland Brewing Company Lions postgame show with Stick and Anson. And you can join Stick and Anson also live from Hayes Social, as the guys will give their instant takes immediately following every Lions game. They're also going to get your takes as well from the chat, and you can give your opinions only on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller, your local long drink, 1800 Tequila, and Sabbath Coffee. We'll be back.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I got to tell you guys about 1800, the official tequila of Woodward Sports Lions watch party, and the post game as well, too. Join 1800 Tequila and Woodward Sports every single Lions game live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township, and celebrate the wins with some smooth 1800 Tequila. Proud sponsor of your Detroit Lions. 1800 Tequila, the best tasting tequila. And always remember, you got to drink responsibly. Come on now.
No doubt, JB. Keep it together, everybody. Be responsible with that 1800 Tequila. Back at it here Lions pregame show, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule here in San Francisco with the Pistons. Sean Belizean back there in Birmingham. And the Bears on in London. We're around the world here. We're Mr. Worldwide, 305 Pitbull here on Woodward Sports Network. Sean, we'll be doing this one more time, I think, in December. I'll be in Hawaii when they're at Chicago. So an even earlier wake-up call for that one out there, Hawaii time. I'll be up and at 'em at 4 a.m. out there for that. Yeah. So looking forward to it all season long with you, my friend. You're the GOAT, and happy to have you with us. People in the Woodward Sports chat thread, Jackson Job asked me, Neil, did you have any get-rights this weekend, or did last week scar you? Well, Jackson Job, I was told that there would be no drop-off with Michigan. So you figure they're going to win in Washington, right? I was told there'd be no drop-off, that they're a championship contender and one of the elite programs in college football. I was told that, but maybe I was lied to. I don't know. Sean, the Lions, all 53 practiced. You never get that.
No.
Like, you never get that in the NFL. People kind of bemoan the bye week and its timing and everything like that at the beginning of the year, but it turns out it was to quote Kurt Hennig, absolutely perfect.
It is the perfect storm for an ass whooping. It really is. In my mind, this is the perfect storm for an ass whooping. There are a lot of matchups in this game that already were pro Lions, and now you throw in the injury situation where, as you said, you got 53 for the Lions and you have a disaster for the Cowboys. You put it all together. This is the recipe for an ass whooping. Now, let's be honest. How many times in the National Football League have we seen something look one way and then it looks the other way? I have to say that in the interest of being fair, because we've all seen that more times than you could shake a stick at. But I think in this circumstance, you've got a situation where the ass whooping's coming this afternoon, man. It is. And I think it's going to be. I'm not saying that they're going to go win 41-7 or anything like that, but I'm looking at a nice big win because of those variables. And you're right, Neil. I've heard so many different theories from guys in the room about when they want the bye week, how they want the bye week, what time of year is the best. There's no true answer. But you know what I think is the one best answer? You want the bye week to get yourself healthy, and that's exactly what the Lions did. And when I say healthy, I think you put that in the context. Look, in the National Football League, you're just not going to be healthy. I think there's a difference between being healthy and being able to give her a go, and that's where the Lions are at right now. Everybody's able to give her a go.
Right, and look, certainly with the Lions too, as every NFL team, you're so health dependent in this league because everything changes, and I gather that, and I like that, Sean, when you talk about there's a beating coming, and I believe you're exactly right. While it might not be 41-7, I do believe there's going to be a physical beating as I look up at the screen and see Caleb Williams throw into double coverage and throw an interception at the goal line. But hey, don't worry, he's coming, everybody. Be scared, be terrified of the Bears. They're certainly going to be a factor. Caleb Williams looks great. But anyway, though, with that being said, Sean, I believe there's a physical beating on tap. And when we saw this offense explode last week, you almost got a sense of relief 2 weeks ago, as a matter of fact. Like, it looked, the vibes, right? We're big on vibes, and the vibes and the look on the camera and everything like that. You almost saw them kind of snap into it, where, look, this NFL season's a process, and in 17 games of punishment week in and week out, you almost saw them fall into rhythm. Like, you could physically see it. And A, I hope so, but B, I want to see it too. I want to see the physical domination. We saw it in stretches. We saw it in overtime in that Rams game where the offensive line said, we're going to physically punish you and we're running the football and you have no say in it. I think the Lions are going to do that from a physicality perspective today against the Cowboys. I think they are going to look to punish them. And this isn't last year. where the Cowboys were undefeated at home. Look, if you want to get into trends and streaks, if we were, getting you to try to call our 1-900 number for our gambling picks, I would tell you a trend that does concern me. They haven't won a game at home this year, and at some point, you tend to play your best football in this league at home. That does give me pause for a second, but every game's in a vacuum. And I think you're right, Sean. I think a physical beating is on hand today, and guess what? I'm here for it, except for Zeke Elliott. There's nothing you can do against those abs, Sean. You can't physically beat them, man.
You can't do it. I mean, what do you do against those two as a tandem? My goodness gracious, how do you stop Rico and Zeke? I don't know what to do. But no, listen, Neil. I think again, and I know people don't want to hear this. I am a firm believer that this team is not defined by what happens between September and December. I am a firm believer that this team, we've graduated, and we should all be happy that we've graduated. This team is going to be defined ultimately by what it does in January and most importantly, February. That should be the definition. Now, again, let me say this. I want all the flowers that come with it. I want to win the division. I want to pound the Bears. I want to pound the Packers. I want to pound the Vikings because there's no way we could catch the Vikings now after that 5-0 start when the reality is the Lions could catch them as early as a week from today. So I want all of that stuff. I want the beating on the Cowboys, but ultimately I can't not stress this enough. I want this team to do it in January and February. We've graduated from like these moral victories during the course of the year. Look at this as a business trip. Go punch them and punch them again and punch them again. And when they think they're about to get punched and they start to flinch a little bit, then you fire a play action pass on them and go, how's that, bitch? That's the type of stuff that I want to see today. And I think those are the type of things that the Lions are going to impose their will on the Dallas Cowboy defense.
In the chat, Google Face 5. Haven't seen you in there before, Google Face 5. Thanks for joining us here on the Lions pregame show. I think y'all are sorely mistaken. The Cowboys have plenty of talent, and it's any given Sunday. This is a playoff game. It will be close. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. When I say a physical beating, that does not necessarily translate to the scoreboard. Like Sean was saying, I'm not saying, Lions off 56-7. You survive road games in this league, and I don't care where you go and play. Sometimes you survive at Carolina. That's, again, this is a transformation of thinking for us Lions fans here, where when you're a good football team and you need to win, as we talked about earlier, you need to win, you just got to be ahead at the end. Google Face 5, you're right. Like, by nature, they're one-score game. I guarantee you it'll be a one-score game today because they're all one-score games. That's just the way that it works out. But plenty of talent, yes. Micah Parsons isn't going to be out there on the field. This becomes a non-negotiable. To me, it becomes a non-negotiable. Micah Parsons is a weapon that you don't see in the National Football League. There aren't but 3 Micah Parsons in this league. If he's not out there, you have to win, especially on the road. You have to win, and they will. I believe that they will. This will be a workmanlike win. I'm not calling for 42-7 or anything like that. This got 2017, 24-17. 23-20 vibes to it, no doubt about that. But with that being said, plenty of talent, I think that's a little bit aggressive. Tell me how they're going to run the football. Tell me. Because you already can't run the football against the Lions. That's a non-negotiable. You don't get to do that. So then what? Feel me here? Then what, Sean? What do they do?
Well, and again, I think sometimes, and with all respect, people hear what they want to hear. I mean, I made a point to say, and you hammered it home, I'm not saying they're going to go win this game 41-7, okay? You know what I look at this game like, Neil, just off the top of my head? Like the business trip to Arizona. Really, like the business trip to Arizona. At no point in time during that game, and you and I talked about this after the game, at no point in time during that game did I sit there and go, oh gosh, the Lions might lose this game. No point in time did that cross my mind. It really didn't. The Lions were just kind of in control the whole game. And that's the way I look at this game. I 27-17, 24-14, something like that. Control the clock. Run the ball, boom, hit a big play with the play action pass because they think that the run is coming. That's the type of situation. And I hope to the commenter, You heard what Neil just said. I don't think anybody's sitting here saying the Dallas Cowboys are garbage, okay? They are an inferior team, and they're far more inferior with as banged up as they are right now. The injury report in a game like this is kind of important, and it's not just Micah Parsons. It's pieces of their secondary. It's a linebacking core. It's important, and me, it's nice to see the shoe on the other foot. Do you know how many times we went into a game over the years where you already knew because of mismanagement at the very top that the talent level at this Detroit Lion team was this thin and the depth was just this thin, and we saw that adversely affect the Detroit Lions. Newsflash, that's what happens to teams in the National Football League. Even if you've got a lot of talent, when you have out some of the players that they have out, especially at the positions they have out, that usually catches up to you.
No, and Sean, you stumbled on something there because I was going to go to the break, but now I'm not going to because you made me think of something right now where, you know what? Sean, how do you think people view the Lions season so far? Like the common fan, like a texter into the show. How do you think people view the Lions season so far?
That's a great question. I don't know because I've seen a myriad of. I told you, Neil, I had to laugh. Somebody literally said to me last week, now we can't catch the Vikings. And I just said, oh, this is going to be a long season if people are thinking that way. You know, I mean, that's the kind of stuff. Do you know what it is, Neil? I'm going to keep hammering this. I know people don't want to hear it because we want all the flowers. Honestly, yes, of course I want to have a good season. Of course I want to win the division. What does this team look like at playoff time? That's the ultimate goal. That's what's going to make people say we improved. If we take the next step, well, then nobody can deny that, right? Nobody can deny that. I think there are people out there, though, if you want to call yourself the best, you have to go out there and be the best. And we're 3-1, and look what the Vikings are doing, and look what this team's doing and everything. I think to me there's a pretty good crowd of you can't please everybody, and maybe instead of focusing on all the positives, maybe they're looking at that game against Tampa. To me, this team is exactly what I thought they would be. And I'm not joking. And Neil, I have no problem standing here today on October 13th and saying, I really, truly believe the Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFC. I really, truly believe that. And I think they're going to have an opportunity to show it to everybody in the next week. Go down to Dallas, take care of business, and then go into Minnesota and give them their first big fat L. And that's where we're at right now, and I think that's what the Lions can do in the next week. But I think there are some people out there that maybe, Neil, I guess the best way to say it, I think they expect the Lions to be 4-0, and every game should be a double-digit win, and that's not reality in the National Football League. It just isn't.
Woodward Sports chat thread, Chuck Brewer says, ho-hum. And so because of what you said, Sean, it got me to thinking, and so I pulled up the schedule, and the Rams game that they won with that last possession, that game-winning possession, when that possession started, you saw how it was unfolding. There was no doubt, right? Like yep. you knew that they were going to go down and score and win that football game. The Tampa Bay game happened. The Arizona game, they were, as you said, they were never a threat to lose that game. The Seattle game on Monday night, they were never a threat to lose that game. Sean, I don't know if it's a Vikings effect or what. The Lions are playing as good a football as anybody in this league right now. As anybody in this league. They haven't been doubted to win a game since September 15th. I'm talking in-game, Sean. Where you were like, man, they could lose this game. We haven't had that since September 15th. I don't know what the people want, man. For real, I don't. And Chuck, look, you're a valued member of the Woodward Sports community, certainly of Big D Energy. But to say ho-hum, I disagree with that 1,000%, man.
How do you think people are feeling in Kansas City right now, right? Because the Kansas City Chiefs haven't looked like world beaters. No. Every single week, there's a ooh. And this is why I'm personally terrified of the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? Because that's a team that, again, they go about their business. They don't look particularly great at doing it, and yet they find a way to win a football game every single week. every single week. And that's where I think the Detroit Lions are at. I really do. Now, again, are they at the level that Kansas City is at? I don't think so. The Lions are the best team in the NFC. I have no problem saying that. Somebody said, say it louder and prouder. The Lions are the best team in the NFC. I hope that does it for you. But really, all jokes aside, this is, I think, more often than not, fans are victims of their own expectations. Being the best team in the NFC doesn't mean you're going to go out there and go all 85 Bears on people and smother people and knock out quarterback week after week after week. You might just be the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, a team that has won 2 straight Super Bowls and has an opportunity to be the first team to win 3 straight Super Bowls. It might just be ho-hum like that. And if that's the ho-hum that the Lions, the ho-hum road that the Lions are on, I want ho-hum. Give me ho-hum. I'll take ho-hum every week where even if the Lions are down, they're going to find a way to win a football game. And that's what I think this team does more often than not.
In the Woodward Sports chat thread, Eric Allen, as you see it down on the bottom of the screen. Let's effing go, Sean. So you got the people going. Jackson Job in the chat. Neil, I thought UAB was going to beat Army. When did I say that? I said I took UAB plus the 28 points in the picks. The Army had to show it, like that they could focus in a game, and they did, by the way. And by the way, my first Heisman ballot comes out this week for Woodward Sports. There might be some Service Academy representation, Sean.
Attaboy.
There might be.
Don't put me in a bad spot. You know that, Neil. Don't put me in a bad spot.
No, absolutely. All right, let's do this then. Yeah, I took UAB plus the 28. They lost by 34. Sorry. I gave you the other 2 winners, though. I gave you Utah State over UNLV in the same fashion. And, oh, by the way, the 49ers were desperate. They had to have it, and they got it. All right, let's do this then. Let's take the break. We'll spin around the NFC North. Still 7-3 in London, those poor people in London. Those poor people in London. Haven't they paid enough for the tax on tea over there that we got to continue to bombard them with Jaguars games and Bears games? Like, enough, guys. Turn the other cheek. All right, take us to church, Pete.
Their long snapper, by the way, is out with a knee injury. Bears long snapper is out of the game.
Oh, all right. Oh, I did know that, but thanks, Pete. So, hey, got a little bit of injury update and some news for you from Pete. But I got to tell you, if you want to know where the best pregame Lions party is, it's, of course, at Second Best Bar. Join us at every Detroit Lions home game down at Second Best Bar, located at 42 Watson Street, for the ultimate fan experience. Enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching up with us here at the Woodward Sports pregame show, only at Second Best Bar. Come down, come get some.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Well, Detroit on game day, you can wake up, as you just saw earlier today, with Wake Up Woodward and Maine, your source for all the insider information on the defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions, with insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit, every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. Woodward and Maine, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Tuller, your local long drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. And as going on right now, follow by Woodward and Maine is the Lions pregame show, also brought to you by New Holland Brewing Company. And you can join the pregame show every Sunday with Neil, Sean, myself, and JB Smoove as we break down the Lions' upcoming matchup for the day. You get the latest injury news, fantasy starts and sits, and the inside scoop on your Detroit Lions. Join us for every Sunday. Home games live at the second best bar in Detroit, your official guide to Lions game day. Only on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Tuller, your local long drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Back to the show, boys.
All right, appreciate that, Pete. Welcome back in. Lions pregame show here, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule here in San Francisco with the Pistons. Pistons Warriors tonight at 8:30, WWJ 9:50 a.m. I'll be on the call for that. Sean Belizean back there in Birmingham. Yeah, no, we're talking Lions and we're talking NFL game day. And Sean, it's time of the show now that we take a spin around the NFC North, see what's cooking. Just as the Bears get another touchdown, Cole Kmet again with the touchdown catch from Caleb Williams. So it's 14-3. This just in, the Jaguars still stink, and that's not changing. But the good news is they gave $250 million to their mid quarterback. So good luck with that, Jaguars. We'll keep it pushing. But Sean, I mean, okay, I was going to start with the Minnesota Vikings. However, I will give the Bears credit for this. You go down and you score before the half like that. That's what you're looking for. But, you know, just as a whole, Sean, what jumps out to you at this NFC North division?
You know, you have to start with Minnesota, Neil. I'm going to say it again. You give them credit. Don't be what you detest, right? How many times have we sat back and said, we got something good going on? Need I remind you about a year ago at this time, right? I mean, we all knew what was going on in Detroit. You heard the cat calls from people, in particular, a lot of the Packer fans that I know. Oh, aren't you a little cute? You know by the end of the season, you little cute little Lions, you're going to pinch your little cheeks, and we're going to beat you, and we're going to break your heart, and all those things. So I refuse to become what I detest. I think the Vikings are legitimate. Their staying power, we'll see. But at this point in time, all I can do is discuss what I've seen up to this point in time. And this is a 5-0 team. And this is a team that has a massive point differential. So I have to give them their flowers. With that being said, here's where the opinion comes in. I think the Lions are a better team. And the Lions are going to have an opportunity to show that next Saturday. So, yes, when you start out 5-0, I don't care if you think they're legitimate or you think they're the biggest fraud in the world. They're the team to beat. I mean, they are in first place right now. I think the Bears, we're going to say the same thing about the Bears that I said at the beginning of the year. Better, yes. But these people that wanted to put the cart in front of the horse and say that a rookie quarterback is going to lead them to some kind of glory, I don't think you're paying attention, man. Yes, they made some good roster moves. Yes, they improved their lot in life. Yes, I'm also willing to say, while I have doubts about Caleb Williams at the NFL level, I'm willing to say, yes, let's see what he is a year or two from now. I will take a veteran quarterback over a rookie almost every single day. And if you want to be that guy that brings up the exception, be my guest. For every exception you bring up, I will give you 10. I like 10-1. So if you like getting your ass kicked, we can have that conversation. You know, I mean, really, it's such a stupid, but what about, okay, and I can drop, but what about boom, 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 over the course of my lifetime. So with that being said, how legit are the Packers? I don't know. The Packers, to me, Neil, I'm interested to get your thought. The Packers are the mystery to me right now. I don't know about the Packers. I think I know what the Bears are. I think I even know what the Vikings are. I don't know what the Packers are because we've seen a whole lot of this, I think, out of the Packers to start this season.
The volatility, I think, is the word with the Packers. Within a game, within a half, within a quarter. I mean, I've seen Jordan Love look awful. This season, recently, we've seen him look awful. It's just, I never understood why, he got championed as arriving and all that kind of stuff. He had a nice close to the season last year. He had the Packers in a position to win a playoff game on the road in San Francisco, but when it came down to it, he turned the football over. So, I mean, with that being said, Sean, I guess for me, it's because I don't know if you guys know this or not, JB Smoove, I've become a villain in Minneapolis. A villain. Like, these messages I get on social media and stuff like that are pretty comical. It's just for me, Sean, I have a kind of a different spin on this Vikings situation where I actually like it. Because as the further down the road we get, number one, I believe what you believe. I can't wait for next Sunday. Like, as excited as I am about today, I can't wait for next Sunday because the time for talk is over.
Yep.
The time for Vikings blogs and stuff like that, putting my photoshopping my face on targets and stuff like that, like that stuff's over. They're gonna lace them up and they're gonna play, and I can't wait for that game. But with that being said, Sean, I've kind of got a different take on it now. I actually enjoy what the Vikings are doing because as things continue to shake out, they could keep Philadelphia or San Francisco out of the playoffs. Like the Niners had to have that. If they didn't get that game against Seattle, they were in a world of hurt. But they sneaked it. They were able to sneak it out. But with that being said, Sean, I believe that the Vikings in this start may keep someone. Think about it. If they go 500 the rest of the way, they're 11-6, right? If they go 500 the rest of the way, they're going to keep someone good out of the playoffs.
Yep.
Because I do not have faith in Sam Darnold. I do not have faith in the Minnesota Vikings when it comes down to it. And we have recency data as well. What the Vikings do as a franchise when big bad Danny Dimes walked into town in the playoffs? Remember that, Sean? I do. I remember what happened. That's that franchise. They stink as a franchise. Show me the successes. Show them to me. Show them to me.
And Neil, to that point, I struggled today. Like, I don't know what happened. There is like a missing gene in a lot of people. The whole both things can be true scenario, right? Some people just can't accept that sometimes both things can be true. You and I kind of feel the same way about the Vikings. I think they're legitimate. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm not saying that their season's going to fall apart. You're not saying that their season's going to fall apart. Hell, to the Viking fans out there that are giving you shit, you just said if they merely go 500 the rest of the way, they're 11-6, and they're probably keeping another team out of the playoff. So nobody is saying that it's fraudulent, okay? You know what we're saying, and I want you to hear this, okay? I'm going to say this very clearly. I firmly believe the Detroit Lions are better than you. I firmly believe that the Lions are going to prove it to you in Minnesota. Then they're going to prove it in Detroit. And then most importantly, they're going to prove it at playoff time. It might not be at your expense because chances are you'll lose a wild card game. But when the opportunity presents itself and we look at how far each team went this year, I firmly believe, I cannot stress this to you enough, firmly believe that the Detroit Lions will prove that they're better than you head-to-head and prove that they are better than you by advancing further in the National Football League playoff. Now, if you want to give me shit for that, you're going to have the opportunity. You might have it as soon as early as next Saturday up in Minnesota. But when all is said and done, I firmly believe the Lions are going to go further than you. I firmly believe the Lions are the best team in the NFC, and I think the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. So, Neil, again, what are you mad at? Are you mad at that which hasn't happened yet? Okay, well, let's wait. You're going to have an opportunity to jump on Neil, to jump on me, to jump on anybody you want. But if you're an idiot that's trying to downplay a 5-0 start in the National Football League, you're looking at the wrong guy. That's not me. I'm giving you your flowers. You got a great point differential. Neil, I'm gonna fall back on you. And deep down inside, Viking fan, you all feel the same way. Sam Darnold's your quarterback. You can tell me, you can verbalize, I feel pretty good about Sam Darnold. Deep down inside, the Viking becomes a Viqueen. You know it as well as I do. Sam Darnold is your quarterback. There is no possible way that anybody could say, I feel confident with Sam Darnold at the helm. I'm convinced that Mama Darnold wouldn't feel that way. So let's just in the back of your head, just remember that, because you won't admit it to me, you won't admit it to Neil. Just admit it to yourself. There's no possible way you could feel comfortable. Yeah, man, Sam Darnold's leading us to glory. Said nobody. So knock it off.
You want to take that back, Sean? Be careful, because they'll come after you. The blogs and everything like that, they'll come after you.
Bring it. Bring it.
No, but Sean, look, and I did say this, like even in my opines, which are very similar to yours, where when you boil all this down, you have Sam Darnold at your quarterback spot. So if you're loving on that, then okay, good for you. You are 5-0 in this league. And what you are in this league is what your record says you are. You're 5-0. Like, however you got there, it took C.J. Stroud's worst game as a pro, and the Niners are all banged up, and that was supposed to be a death march in your schedule, and it wasn't. So, you know what? Props to you. You're 5-0. So what? So what? I don't have, like, I give you the credit for it because you are, but when you boil all this down, we gonna see next Sunday, as a matter of fact, dude. And I can't wait for it. I know we're talking the Cowboys and the Lions and stuff like that, but I can't wait for it. I truly can't. Woodward Sports chat thread, jump into there. Nia Millimeter, Neil and Sean, who allowed those glamour shots? Hey, those photos on that graphic get a reaction each and every time. That's all. That's all I need to know. Here on Mark M. Jags are toast. Yes, Trevor Lawrence has 82 yards passed at the half.
Gross.
$250 million. 82 yards passed.
Neil, can I bring up something? I thought you just brought up a great point. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2011 Detroit Lions. Do you remember they started out 5-0? Do you remember our city was going crazy? Do you remember how glorious that was, Neil? The scenario that you just talked about was basically the scenario with the Detroit Lions that year. They started out 5-0, they went 5-6, and they went very, very quietly and meekly into the night when the playoffs came, when Drew Brees passed for about 837 yards. You can fact check me there. Right? I mean, listen, congratulations. That's awesome. Like, you're off to a great start, and I think the chances are pretty good, unless you have an utter collapse, that you're going to find your way into the playoff. But see, in Detroit, we've grown up a little bit the last couple of years. You know what? We all know that the success isn't the cute little things you do in the regular season, that success comes in the playoff. Good luck to you.
And that's it. That's it.
I know. Hi, Pete.
Hey, I was just going to say the last team, if I did my research correctly, the last team that started 4-0 to miss the playoffs were the 2016 Denver Broncos, if I'm correct on that. So that's the last time any team with at least a 4-0 start has missed the playoffs.
All right, let's do this, and let's take the break. When we come back, we will take a look at Sean Baligian's matchup to watch. He breaks down one little angle of the game that he's going to have his eyes on. We'll spin around the NFL also. Don't forget, Pete Spivak's going to get you right. He's got his parlay picks, his fantasy plays, anything that pops in that warped mind of Pete Spivak in relation to gambling. He will have that for you as well. We'll have our Lions opponent flashback where JB Smoove has it cooked up for us. We got all that, and we're taking you to kickoff of those 1 o'clock games where you can sit there, spin that red zone around. I will say this, Sean, real quick before we cut to the break. All the national TV and all the prime national slots that the Lions are in, it has opened up a whole new world for me as a football viewer. I used to bemoan the red zone, bemoan it. And now that's the only way my children will watch football now, because their attention span is like that much. But they got me my first hit of it, Sean, and I do enjoy the red zone. And because the Lions are good, they're not playing at 1 o'clock all the time with the C broadcasting crew on there. They give us this opportunity. They've opened some doors, Sean, for me as a football fan.
Hey, I have admitted this before, and I mean, for years I did these fantasy shows, and I hosted fantasy shows, and I was in 800 leagues. Do you know how great it is to just go back and be a fan, and instead of looking at numbers, to just dive in waist deep in the red zone with just football geekdom and not worrying about, how many yards was that touchdown to Komet? No, I love it. I like Neil. That's one of those things I don't know how a human being could do without red zone. I really don't. It's the
best.
The NFL Network, I mean, it's absolute gold. I couldn't and wouldn't want to do without red zone now.
No, absolutely. All right, then let's do this. Let's take the break. Let's kick off this second hour of the show, get you to the NFL football. This is a Woodward Sports Lions pregame show.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward Sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Oh, Caesars. Well,
use code Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $8,000. All you got to do is place a minimum $20 bet. If that bet doesn't hit, you know what? They'll put it right back into your account. So you know what? It's not like you even lost anything. Scan the QR code on screen. Use code Woodward1000. It's Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Get those bets in today while you can.
Absolutely, JB Smoove. Absolutely, Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Promo code Woodward1000, as JB said. We'll get to that later. We'll be about that action. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
You know that. You know that. But yeah, we're back at it here. Lions pregame show. Neil Rule out here in San Francisco. Pistons, Golden State Warriors tonight. I'll be on the radio call at 8:30 Eastern time. Sean Belizian there in our palatial estates there in Birmingham. We got eyes on the game in London. Oh, look at that. Trevor Lawrence just threw an interception. NFL, what are we doing? I take it back. It was a fumble. I think they're going to rule it a fumble. It was a fumble. All right. So there's that. But the story remains. NFL, what are we doing to these poor people in England. What do we do? Like, haven't we done enough to them through the years? Like, I mean, like, look, I think they would tell you the T-tax was a bad idea. And we rectified that situation. We handled it. We handled it. That's over, though. Can we all turn the page and move on? We don't need to continue to attack them by subjecting them to the Jaguars football games. But anyway, I digress. It is time to take a look at Sean Belizean's matchup to watch. Sean, Lions-Cowboys today. What do you got? What are you looking for? What's the matchup?
Pete and I were talking about this before it started, Neil. I think a lot of times we all have the tendency to go Jerry Jones. And what I mean by that is we want to be the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
We want to look past the obvious. We can't talk about the obvious because it's too obvious. I'm going to find something else to talk about. In a game like today, you know what the obvious is? It is this offensive line, arguably the best offensive line in the National Football League, against a beat-up front seven for the Dallas Cowboys. Don't overthink this. Don't try to be cute. Don't look at a matchup here or there. You know what you do? Mercy is for the weak. You pound them. You hit them in the jaw. And then you see them holding their jaw and you hit them in the jaw again. And then you hit them in the jaw one more time. And then when they think it's coming again and they flinch a little bit, you catch them with a play action pass and you open up the middle of the field. Do what you should do against a banged up unit. Don't overthink this. Go out and do it. I know Mike Martz, the much maligned Mike Martz, okay? Remember the genius that was Mike Martz? There was a game, Neil, and you'll probably remember this, where honest to goodness, like the San Diego Chargers were completely beat up when he was the coach of the Rams. And the Chargers, the one thing that the Chargers could say is, well, they're pretty good against the run, but their defensive backfield was entirely beat up. So you know what Mike Martz did? And he talked about it after the game. He's like, so they have one of the best defensive backfields in the league, or one of the best run defenses in the league. Their defensive backfield is beat up. I know I have Marshall Faulk, but why would I run the ball? If they're beat up, why would I run the ball? And he just threw the ball all damn game. I think they ran the ball like 2 times or something like that. Don't overthink it. Sometimes the answer is staring at you right in the face. This is a team that even when healthy, they can't stop other teams running the ball, and they're not healthy right now. Pound them. Pound them again. You have 2 running backs that can do it. You have multiple weapons that can open up the middle of the field and take advantage of some of that play action. Do that all game and come away with a double-digit victory, because that's really what I'm looking at. Don't overthink it. Don't try to be too cute. Everybody's got to find that one angle that nobody else is talking about. Not in a game like this. Your line is the bully. Go take their lunch money. Okay, and then go take that little fruit pie that Mom packed in the bag too. Take that as well. Go be the bully today and bully the Dallas Cowboys.
Damn, Sean, you want to take the cherry pie away too, man?
Dude,
Come on.
Seriously, back in the day, man, when you had that cherry pie at lunch,
The Hostess cherry
apple.
pie.
So
Hostess
good.
cherry pie.
Oh, so damn good. With that sugar coating on top of it. Oh, my gosh.
That was the best.
Oh. Be the bully. Take it. Tell your mom I want the chocolate pie tomorrow. Okay, sir. That's exactly what I do.
Prop due. I have no need for the red zone. I'm a Lions fan, not an NFL fan. Okay, well, hey, to each its own.
Fair.
Ryan's reaction, F England. I think that's a little aggressive. Ryan, we can move past that. I think we settled that score. I think we got it figured out. 313 Thug Boss, 34-10 Lions. That's a little aggressive, I think. Ryan's reaction, Monty, 25 carries, $110, and a touchdown as well. Oh, but we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Montgomery signed an extension yesterday. This is probably something I guess I would get a little deeper in, maybe on Big D Energy, but I will say this, Sean, and I know you can't be halfway on anything in this world. Like, you can't have logic and you can't have reasoning and understanding.
Can't do it.
Because I had some buddies ask me yesterday over the text, what'd you think? And I said, I feel like it was a tad aggressive. The running back at $9 million and change per, I feel like it was a tad aggressive. But with that being said, I'm not. If Brad Holmes says it's so, then it's so. Trust his track record. It's not like the clown organization of the past with the Lions, where you just assumed every move was wrong. It's going to come down to this: like, provided he stays healthy, that'll be a pretty good value because you know what you're getting with David Montgomery. If there's anybody, you know what you're getting. David Montgomery, you know what you're getting. That man runs like he's angry all the time. It's just, for me, in today's NFL, maybe a touch aggressive at $9 million per, but all in all, I'm not going to ask questions. He's here for the long haul.
No, I think you just said it, Neil. In years gone by, I think I might have been a little even more vigorous about that and said, guys, let's take a time out and think about this logically. This comes back to something you and I talked about time and time again, and you just touched on in the offseason. Listen, Brad Holmes has an incredible credit line right now. His cachet, I can't stretch my arms. If that guy thinks that this fits into the puzzle, I am willing to take a big leap of faith with him. He just hasn't given me many reasons to second guess him at this point in time. And so if the time comes where we could say, oh man, looking back, I don't know about that one, we can have that conversation at that point in time. That's the fair thing to do. But right now, if I'm looking at this again from a logical standpoint, okay, there are some questions. There are some potential red flags. Oh, Brad Holmes thinks it's cool. All right, I'm in. I mean, honestly, I hate to, it sounds like a simpleton, but I think he's earned that from this fan base, Neil. I really do.
No, you're 100% right. And look, Montgomery his performance has certainly earned that as well. And someone in the chat here, and the chat whipped through, so my apologies to you that I can't give you the credit for it. You know who you are, though. Said the extension's not that long, and that's a perfect segue to kind of, because I like to do this, Sean, with the contract stuff. I kind of give my take on probably what happened. My guess would be Montgomery wanted more term, and the Lions, as kind of a comeback to say, well, how about we juice the money a little bit on the shorter end deal? And then both sides said, yeah, that's good. And then the other side, yeah, that's good. And let's go win a Super Bowl. That's probably how that worked, I would think, because this carries him, I believe, through his age 30 season. So all in all, you can't argue with it. And they have the cap space to do it because Brad Holmes has set this team up. Because earlier in the chat, somebody said, T-Mac 2023, y'all acting like we've been winning for decades. Relax. Well, T-Mac, these are the kinds of moves that tell you that the Detroit Lions are set to win for a very long time. If you can't see that, then I can't help you, T-Mac.
Amen.
Because they have done everything. They walked in the door, T-Mac, what'd they do? And you guys can record this take and play it back, and we get more of these. What did he do when he walked in the door? Bit the bullet financially the first year. All that dead money that he had on the books for guys that weren't even playing. He had to eat it for a year. He absolutely had to. And he did. Valued the draft capital. Moved within drafts. Got the finances right. Got the finances right with Goff's contract. Got the finances right with St. Brown's. Amon-Ra St. Brown's contract's not even talked about anymore. It's just a regular contract. Penei Sewell's contract is not even talked about anymore. It's just a regular contract. T-Mac, that's why they're set. That's why they're good. That's why Sean sits on this show and says they're a better team than Minnesota Vikings. You can ignore those realities, but that's the way teams are built. That's how you win football games in this league now. The finances have just as much to do with it as what happens on the field. People may not understand that. They may not celebrate that, whatever. But those are the facts of the matter. And that's why, again, I'm not going to question. Brad Holmes says it's such, then it's such, and we keep it pushing. And, Sean, I believe you put that perfectly. That man's credit line dictates as much.
And you know what, T-Mac, I would throw this out there. Neil, I agree with you. If you can't see it, it's because you don't want to see it. And Ryan's reactions made a comment. The Lions are winning through 2027. This is what happens when you have a general manager who's playing chess and not checkers. And it's new. It's new to a lot of Lion fans. We've never seen this before. We really haven't. We have never, even in some of those glory years of the 90s where we saw one playoff win total, we've never seen this before. Neil, I always go back to 10 years ago, okay? Like, I'm telling you, that team's window was this wide. Okay, it really was. And that's not just me saying this. There are guys in that locker room that told me after the fact that to a man, they knew that their window of opportunity was 2014. Everything came together. They had that unbelievable Terrell Austin defense. They went 11-5. Everything came together that particular year. But they knew that window of opportunity wasn't very wide. And people didn't want to hear it back then. So again, I'm going to be one of those guys. I'm never going to tell you crap that you want to hear. I'm never going to be that guy. So when the 2015 season started, there were a lot of people, including a guy that works in the afternoon, not named Braylon Edwards and not named Ryan Ermanni, that was furious at me because I said, you wait, they're going to take a step back. They're not that good. They aren't that good. And so when they took that step back, guys, I wasn't surprised because they didn't have that built. Martin Mayhew did not build that. And the season started out as a complete disaster. They nearly flipped the script late in the season, but they fell just short. Guys, this guy has been playing chess for 3 years already. He really has been. And I remember the day that the Stafford deal happened, I was like, okay, this is a guy that gets it. And you know why he gets it? He knew damn well they were going to suck. And suck mightily in 2021, and he had no problem with it. He knew damn well that there was a real good opportunity they could suck and suck mightily in 2022. The surprise was how they flipped the script in 2022. Because if you remember, I was told that Robert Saleh was a genius when he was at 7-4, and the Detroit Lions were at 4-7 in 2022, and the Lions made the wrong choice. And then obviously they fell apart, lost their last 6. The Lions went on their run and nearly made the playoffs, including beating the Jets as well. So this is a guy, he's been planning this for a couple of years now. So I get it. T-Mac, if you're one of those guys that you want to sit there and go, prove it to me, Lions, I can't say you're wrong. I can't. You know what I can do? I can say that you are comparing failures of past to something that has no sign of failing right now. None. Zero. And based on what Neil just said, with contracts in place, workable contracts that will keep the legitimacy of this franchise going for the foreseeable future, I kind of like the spot the Lions are in.
No, there's no question about it. Pete, I guess production on the fly. We need to take a break right now, right? And then come back and
if
go
you'd
around
like,
the NFL.
sure. If you'd like,
yeah, we can.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take the break right now. When we come back, we'll go around the NFL. I believe we got one more break. We got to sneak in. We'll get you Pete's fantasy plays, his prop parlays, whatever pops into that degenerate mind. Pete's 5X.
You don't
take
want
a
to know.
look at I know. No, we don't want to know, Pete. So please, just keep it. We don't want to see it. We don't want to hear it. Lions opponent flashback as well. All that coming up next. You are watching the Lions pregame show on Woodward Sports, brought to you by New Holland Brewing.
And following this great Lions pregame show, you can catch the Lions watch party with the heavyweights live from Hayes Social in Shelby Township for the biggest watch party in Metro Detroit. The fellas go live just before kickoff for every Lions game day, and you can catch all their reactions live on Woodward Sports. Come eat, drink, and cheer on the brand new Lions at Hayes Social, only on Detroit's numero uno sports network, Woodward Sports, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller, your local long drink, 1800 Tequila, Siroki's, and Sabbath Coffee. And then following the watch party, it's the New Holland Brewing Company Lions post-game show with Stick and Anson, also from Hayes Social in Shelby Township. The guys will give their instant takes immediately following the Lions game. You can call in from anywhere and be part of the show, or show up to Hayes Social and give your opinion on the show as well, only on Detroit's #1 sports network, and that would be Woodward Sports, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller, your local long drink, 1800 Tequila, and Sabbath Coffee.
prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
18. So good. I got to tell you about it again. 1800 Tequila, the official tequila of Woodward Sports Lions Watch Party and the post game as well too. Join 1800 Tequila and Woodward Sports every single Lions game live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township and celebrate with some smooth 1800 Tequila, proud sponsor of your Detroit Lions. 1800 Tequila, the best tasting tequila there is right now. Drink responsibly, even though I don't know what that tastes like.
It's pretty good. I'll tell you that, JB Smooth. Back at it here. Woodward Sports Lions pregame show getting you ready. Lions Cowboys today, 4:25. The national stage, I guess you could say, in terms of the day game. So that's what it is. They are the national game at 4:25. And Neil Rule here in San Francisco, traveling with the Pistons. Sean Belesian back there in Birmingham. JB Smooth. We got Pete Spivak in the building. All of you in the Woodward Sports chat thread, subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Jump in there. Get your thoughts out there on the Detroit Lions. We are going to take a look, though, around the NFL. I enjoy doing this segment, Sean. It's one of my favorites. What do you see? To quote a friend of mine, what do you see out there in the NFL this Sunday? What catches your fancy this Sunday into Monday night?
You know what? I'm intrigued to see a few different things. I mean, number one, without Kansas City being there, that takes it away. I'm sorry, I'm infatuated with watching the Chiefs because the Chiefs are the franchise that everybody wants to be. And you know, we were talking about ho-hum earlier. I'll take their version of ho-hum, man. I think Commanders and Ravens is one that jumps out to me. I hope I'm back in time to watch that one because, you know, Lamar can still do crazy things. We saw it again last week. I know that there's been some slander put on his name, but that dude can still do some crazy things. And then you got Jaden Daniels, who we were talking about earlier. I can't say enough about Jaden Daniels. I just can't. Normally, I'd be looking at a lot of other 4 o'clock games this week. I don't give a fuck because the Lions are playing, so I'm just going to move past that. But I think there are a couple games, you know, Bengals and Giants. You know the routine. Here comes Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Come on, man. When you're consistently coming out of the gate like this, there's a problem there. There's a big problem there. And now they find themselves in a huge hole. So I can't wait for when they beat the Giants, not if. When they beat the Giants tonight, and everybody will come and say, here they come again. And Bills-Jets, the same thing, man. Listen, The National Football League is a strange place because a couple weeks ago it looked like the Bills were back, and everybody was questioning, what are you doing when you get rid of Diggs and everything? And they looked like garbage the last couple weeks. So can they bounce back against the dysfunction that is the New York Jets? I'll say it again. I love watching Josh Allen play. I think I'd pull hair out of my head if he was my quote-unquote quarterback because for everything he does well, once or twice a game, he does something so incredibly stupid that you can't help but laugh. But when you're a fan of that team, you're not laughing. You're going, oh, why did you do it again? But, I mean, that's what jumps out to me about this week. It's weird, Neil, to be in this position because for years, whether we want to admit it or not, oftentimes the Lions were the 1 o'clock game, and it kind of felt like you were watching the JV game before the varsity took the field at 4 o'clock. Normally, I'd be all in with these 4 o'clock games. I don't care this week. It's all about Lions-Cowboys, and I think it's going to be a matchup where the varsity pounds on the JV today.
No, I kind of share your sentiment, too. I'm looking forward to the Bengals. We'll have that for you about that action, by the way, where Sean and I give you a couple of NFL picks. I do have my eye on the Monday night game as well because it's an opportunity for me. This isn't about you, the fans. This isn't about Sean, the football fan. Touchdown Jaguars, by the way. They're back. Trevor Lawrence is back. This isn't about any of you. This is about me. And an opportunity presents itself on Monday night for me. And now I'm counting on Josh Allen to do it. I never like to be in that spot. But with that being said, the opportunity is this. The New York Jets can be put out to pasture for the season this week. With the Bills coming into town, playing at New York, and I want it, Sean. I want to see it. I want Aaron Rodgers put down. I want Aaron Rodgers out of this league. I've had enough. I always hear about it. I never see it. Smooth season you got going on so far there, A-Raj. So, again, I look to the Buffalo Bills to really put them in a hurt lock. And the Jets at 2-4, we haven't seen a dynamic Aaron Rodgers. I wish Flannel were here just for a second, though, Sean, not permanently, because the Breece Hall thing. I was told Breece Hall was going to win the MVP.
We did have that conversation. I remember that conversation.
With Breece Hall was going to set your fantasy league on fire. And then I look up and he averages like 1.8 yards per carry every week. So again, I keep hearing about it, but I never see it with the Jets. And the Bills have the opportunity to put them down. And really, Sean, do you believe in the Jets at 2-4 with yet another home game gone? I don't.
No way. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to say it again. I couldn't stand Aaron Rodgers, but I can separate the two. Aaron had a phenomenal career, but Father Time, as we all know, is unbeaten. He wins every single time. You are lying to yourself if you say that this Aaron Rodgers is a close facsimile of the former Aaron Rodgers. You're lying to yourself. And I got some pushback last week because, I quoted Till I Collapse by Eminem, where he says, when your moment passes, you have to be man enough to say, okay, it's at its end. And what are you talking about? Look at his offensive line. Look at what he has around him. Look at Aaron Rodgers. This is a guy that makes mistakes. You know what made Aaron Rodgers great? Go back and look at his numbers. The man didn't make mistakes. And he didn't have great things around him in Green Bay. Let's be brutally honest, okay? The man didn't make mistakes. He's making mistakes left and right now. He is not Aaron Rodgers anymore. I'm not going as far as to say it's Drew Brees, whose arm literally passed away in front of everybody. His arm died. It was a legitimate dead arm. And then he thought he was being sneaky like a year later. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed. I couldn't throw the ball last year. Oh, Drew, we noticed. Oh, we noticed. And, same thing with Roethlisberger when he started to go down. This isn't the dramatic drop-off, but this isn't Aaron Rodgers, man. It's not even close to Aaron Rodgers. And I'm with you. I have a feeling that one more nail is going to be put in that Jets coffin.
I want to see it, Sean. God, I can't wait to see it. Woodward Sports chat thread, Skydog 722. I hate night games. It's about NFL's corporate greed. Yes, Skydog, it is. They tell you as such. Sorry. that's
I agree with him.
$1 billion TV deals.
Listen, I agree with him. Neil, maybe I'm showing my age, but you have a Sunday night game every now and again, and there was something special about it. You know what I mean? And, maybe I sound like the old dude there, well, because I am, but that's what made it. Every now and again, you have that Sunday night game, and it gave you something to get fired up for. But to your point, everything that the NFL touches is gold. Every decision they make works. I've never seen a league like that, and it's obviously working quite well for them.
As always, I'm interested, too, in that Commanders-Ravens game. And look, not because I'm expecting Jaden Daniels to walk in there and to beat Baltimore, especially Baltimore at 3-2. They're kind of recovering from a bit of I want to say a slow start because their schedule was murder out of the gate. But if he goes into Baltimore and they beat the Ravens, I don't have anything else to say about Jaden Daniels, man. If he does this, man, they'll be 5-1. He will have arrived. And Sean, I'll tell you this: if he pulls this off and just keeps on doing what he's been doing, just kind of project it out, he's got to be the MVP favorite in the league, Sean. Yes, the league.
No argument. And this is where I'm gonna defer to my buddy Vegas Pete on this. Pete, can you help me understand why this is 6.5? Are they setting a big trap for people like me who don't gamble a lot? Because I'm with you, Neil. I don't think the Commanders are going to win. I don't. But A, would it shock me? And B, 6.5 is pretty big for a guy that's shown that he can do some incredible things. And I think this one stays a little close, Pete.
Yep.
I love that 6.5. I would take the Commanders in 6.5 all day.
Yeah, you want to take the points with that? I don't blame you absolutely one bit, because I think that this is Vegas trying to force you guys to try put your money on a questionable bet. I'm not saying that the Commanders are questionable, but I think that them winning the game is questionable. But I think that Neil is right. I think that Jaden Daniels will take a front-running lead for the overall MVP for the NFL if he beats on the road the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore, because that's a quality win. I would totally take the 6.5. And while we're talking about this, before I get to my picks later on coming up on the show, I'm going to take a look at what the Jaden Daniels passing props are, because I am very, very interested in how he's going to play today. But yes, I think that it's actually moved, according to our Caesars Sportsbook app, it actually has just moved from 6.5 to 7, a straight 7. So
okay,
something's working here, man. But I at plus 250 on the money line for the Commanders too. You guys can make some really good money today at 2.5 to 1 on the money line with the Commanders.
Sean, I think with what it is with this isn't. I don't even know that Vegas is trying to guide you in there. It's a show me thing. One of the Jackson Jobe, ironically enough, after the season's over, was kind of giving me crap about. In my picks, I took UAB plus 28 or whatever that was against Army. And to me, it was kind of a show-me game for Army, where, all right, you've been steamrolling everyone. The line's going to be overcooked a little bit. Can you handle the success and playing a team that's inferior to you? Can you handle business? And the answer was yes, they did. I think there's some angle of that here with the Jaden Daniels and the Commanders thing with the line. This is a test for them. This is really a litmus test to see if the Commanders are good, if Jaden Daniels is truly that guy, and people don't believe it, And why would you? I mean, on the surface, Sean, why would you? This is a rookie.
Shouldn't be happening.
Off to a hot start. Yeah, it's happening, but okay, Rook, you're going into Baltimore now. Lamar's over there on the other side. That Baltimore defense, playing at that stadium. Show me that you can survive the pounding. Here's Sean, where I am with you on, because I got in some scrapes with some of the viewers last year during the whole Heisman thing. When I said Jaden Daniels is the Heisman winner, period, end of story, and people were like, "Oh, look what he did in Alabama." Sean, he went into Alabama and ran for almost 200 yards at Alabama. He's done this type of thing before. If he goes in here and he runs for 150 yards, Sean, then all bets are off, man. He is the real deal.
Pete, maybe, just maybe, to both you and Neil, maybe part of this equation is the time-honored who has he beaten game. because the good team that he played was Tampa and they lost.
They got smoked.
They beat the Giants. They squeaked by the Giants. They beat the Bengals, who, look, Neil, I'm a big believer in what you just said. You are what your record indicates. And the Bengals are not a good football team right now. They pounded the Cardinals. They pounded the Browns. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I just know this. I'm watching a quarterback do things on a weekly basis he shouldn't be doing in this league as a rookie. Honestly, that's where we're at right now with this kid. Now, again, maybe I need to heed my own advice. I don't trust rookies. I come from the Bill Parcells school. Rookie's going to do something dumb more often than not. Maybe that's part of the equation. Hey, listen, I'm a stay-in-your-lane guy. There's a reason why I don't make a lot of bets out there, because I think what I have a tendency of doing is looking at things from the geeky standpoint as opposed to the angle standpoint. That's why, Pete, I ask you. It doesn't make sense to me. 7 now?
Right, and
I think that's a gift.
And well, actually, we got to be careful because Jaden Daniels is very reliant on his legs. Now, his running game is extremely a heavy part of his game, and the Baltimore Ravens have the #1 current rushing defense in the NFL. That is huge, but they also have the 3rd worst passing defense in the NFL. If you guys want to see how Jaden Daniels really is a good quarterback today, let's see what his arm can do, because his arm is going to be the key to them winning the game, because according to the stats, he won't be able to run his usual, running game out of the pocket. So let's see how he throws the ball, where he throws the ball, how he places the ball, and if he does this correctly today and throws like 2 or 3 touchdowns and looks good, then yeah, he's in line for the NFL MVP.
No, I would agree. No question about it. The other thing I got that I'm going to be watching for before we cut to the break here, Sean, I'm actually going to be happy, as you are, that the Lions are playing the 4:25 game, because that means that I don't have to watch Chargers Broncos at Mile High. And the reason I say that is not because of what's on the field. Far from that. The reason is because, number one, it'll give me a flashback when they go to commercial and that 60 Minutes commercial comes on. And you think to yourself, remember as a kid, you're like, oh my God, the weekend's over. We got to go back to school on Monday. All that sound, it gives me PTSD just thinking about it right now. So it makes me happy. It makes me happy the Lions aren't playing. I won't see any 60 Minutes commercial reminding me of the impending doom that the week is starting up. So, that's good. That is good. Plus, there is no bigger sign that your weekend is over than the Broncos on at 4 o'clock.
It is. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Neil, I'm convinced, and you can't factually prove me incorrect, that every 4 o'clock Sunday was the Chargers and the Broncos growing up. I'm convinced that every single week that was just like
Raiders-Broncos.
Just like you can't convince me that every London game is Jacksonville and every Thursday night game is the Tennessee Titans. There's no way you can convince me otherwise. But honestly, it was. I would see the great Dick Enberg, rest his soul, and Merlin Olsen, and then I immediately started to get that headache because you knew you were going back to school in the morning. But always the 4 o'clock game back in the day when NBC had the AFC rights.
Oh man, I hated it. Cartier, I'm curious in the chat. I'm curious who Aaron Rodgers will blame next. We all are. That's why I kind of want them to lose, because I want to see who wears it next, because it's not Aaron Rodgers' fault. It's not. All right, let's do this. Let's take the break. We'll come back. We'll get to Pete's fantasy plays, his prop parlays, all the degenerateness that is Pete's 5 egg wrapped up into one package. Sean Belizian and I will be about that action. We'll give you some picks that we think as well. We'll take a look at the Lions' opponent flashback, some positive things against the Cowboys. I was in the building. I believe Sean was too. It was a great moment in my Lions fandom as a child. We'll give you final thoughts, and of course, we'll get you into NFL football. It is the New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame show right here on Woodward Sports, brought to you by Sabbath Coffee Roasters right there in Clawson. And of course, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. When it's game time, it's Tully time. We'll be back with more.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Main, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
You know what time it is, everybody. Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan the QR code on screen. Use code Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000. All you got to do is place that minimum $20 bet, and if it doesn't hit, they will put that right back into your account. I'm telling you, I'm not crazy. Scan the QR code right now. Use code Woodward1000, and let's get about that action.
Absolutely, JB Smoove. We're Finsta, no doubt about it. Neil Rule here in San Francisco, way with the Pistons. Sean Belesian in the studios back in Birmingham. All of you in the Woodward Sports chat thread. We got JB Smoove. We got Pete Spivak as well. We got all of you in the chat. Like these great contributions from the Jahish. Neil is a tool. Okay.
What?
Keeping it moving, everybody. Okay. So there is that out there. This is the time. This is Pete Spivak's time to shine right now. Pete Spivak, we bring him in. We talk to him every week. His fantasy plays, his prop parlays. Peter, what do you have for us?
Well, we have quite the list for you today, filled with a lot of players that make you angry, Neil Rule, but I'm just kidding. Actually, here comes the list of the players who we should be playing today in our flex positions. Again, these players are, if you need help in your flex position, yes or no, do I play them? Here is where I'm going to come in. I love Bucky Irving today at the New Orleans Saints. Now, the New Orleans Saints do have a pretty good rush defense, but I think that Rachaad White is questionable. I don't know if he is going to play yet or not, but even if he does, I think he's going to be quite limited. I think it's a great day for Bucky Irving. Najee Harris, yes, this guy who can't frickin' do anything right in Pittsburgh. I think today against the Las Vegas Raiders, I think Najee Harris will indeed get in finally and get you some points. Tony Pollard's the only way that Tennessee scores any points, and they're taking on a very bad Indy rush defense today. James Conner, guys, I'm going to tell you something. He's only 29 years old, and everybody seems to keep forgetting about James Conner in Arizona. Solid running back today against Green Bay. If the Arizona Cardinals are going to beat Green Bay, it's going to be on the ground. Ray McLeod III. Wide receiver out of Atlanta. We all know that Darnell Mooney had a great day last week. This week it's going to be Ray McLeod for the Atlanta Falcons at Carolina. You got Tank Dell. You don't forget that we have Nico Collins is now out. Tank Dell will be taking over a lot of his routes in Houston. Please play him today in your flex position. Michael Wilson on Arizona. I do like his position today as a flex spot. If there are going to be passes thrown today, aside from Marvin Harrison Jr., it'll be Michael Wilson catching it for Arizona. Jerry Jeudy, if there's anybody going to be catching any balls today for Cleveland, I think Jerry Jeudy is due for a day. That all depends, obviously, on Deshaun Watson getting his head out of his ass. And Drake May, he's got to throw to somebody today. It's going to be Demario Douglas, the wide receiver out of New England. I guarantee you he's going to get in at least one touchdown today, and he will have some yards if Drake May can get him the ball. But my sits and do not plays coming up, you got it. You can see it. No wide receivers from Carolina, Denver, Indy, or the LA Chargers, and no running backs from New England, Las Vegas, or the Dallas Cowboys. Gentlemen, there's my list for the players today.
All right, Pete Spivak, appreciate it as always. I'm a Tank Dell owner, so obviously I'm glad to see that one out there as well. Ray McLeod, Sean.
Yeah, you know, Pete, let me also jump in on this. I think it's a brilliant play, not to say any Dallas Cowboy running back.
Thank you.
I think it's a brilliant. No, seriously, every week, but especially this week. I expect again. I expect the Lions to just jump up on them, and Dak is going to be forced to throw. You know the crazy thing about this, though, if I may throw in my 2 cents, and this is my backwards thinking, I think because of the necessity to throw today, Dak actually might be a decent prospect. Like, honestly, if you're stuck in one of those bye-week hells or you need a guy, I think Dak might be a decent prospect today because he's going to have to throw so much today. They can't run. They cannot run the ball, and they're going to be playing catch-up. So I think he's going to put the ball up a lot today. It'll be interesting to see.
I agree with you on that, and you know, on that point, I think you also have to look, if you are a bettor today, take a look at the over/under on the interceptions for Dak Prescott because he will be tossing them up today. So
you got that right.
Should we move on to the parlay?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Get the people some money.
All right, we got a 3-leg parlay for today, and I really was taking a look at this game against Dallas. We were all talking about it. The run game is going to be key to beating Dallas today. So I have a very, very simple 3-leg parlay from our friends at Caesars Sportsbook. You are taking a look at the 3-leg parlay, which is plus 510. David Montgomery is going to be over 60 total yards today between rushing and receiving. He's also going to get in the end zone, and also somebody who's going to get into the end zone for the first time this season. Sam Laporta is going to have himself a nice day, not a super day, but I think a nice day. The Lions will be using Mr. Laporta today. He gets in the end zone. There's your 3-leg parlay, 2 touchdowns, 60 yards total for Mr. Monty at plus 510. 3 legs from our friends at Caesar Sportsbooks. What do you guys think?
I like that a lot.
Yeah, and Sean, you know what's interesting about that? It startled me when he said it. He put Sam Laporta in his parlay to get a touchdown, to get his first touchdown of the season. But the show goes on. The machine keeps rolling. Sam Laporta doesn't have a touchdown yet. You wouldn't even know.
Doesn't this go back to what we talked about with like J-Mo at the beginning of the year? You know, it's to the people out there that thought J-Mo was going to put up 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns, and that's the only way he's successful, that's not the way this offense is built. And each week, the best part is you could have a different guy stepping up. I said it earlier, and Pete, I agree with you across the board. I think this is a Laporta day. I think this is punch, fake punch, get him to flinch, hit Laporta over the middle, and the next thing you know, he's walking into the end zone from 30 yards out or something like that. That's the way that I look at this one. I think that's a strong play.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, I mean, Sam, if you take a look at the Lions stats, the stats of the Lions, you know, the key players, they're all together right down the. I don't think anybody between running backs and receivers, if I'm correct, and I'm pretty sure I am, has over 300 total yards. at their position so far after the first 4 games. So I really think that Laporta today will be the key for the Lions because they want to get him involved in the offense, and this is the perfect day to do it. We already talked about it, so let's get it done.
Trevor Lawrence, update from London. Trevor Lawrence, another interception.
Of
28
course.
to 10. 28 to 10. The Bears lead.
But he's so good.
Comical. Absolutely comical.
Jeez, oh Pete.
Here on Mark M, Jags keep jagging. Yes, that is a phrase. That is a phrase that I would do as well. Hey, JB Smooth, you ready to be about that action?
Yeah, let's get it.
You just don't want to talk, really.
I'm just about that action, boss. I'm just about that action, boss. I'm just about that action. I'm just about that action, boss.
You ready to go get it?
I'm just about that action, boss. I'm just about that action. I'm just about that action, boss. Beast mode, beast mode. Laid back, kick back, mind my business. Laid back, kick back, mind my business. Laid back, kick back, mind my business. Was raised like that. Was raised like that.
JB Smooth's elite, man.
That's unbelievable, JB. That's unbelievable. Can you forward that to me?
I can't.
I'm going to play that in the car on the way home,
yeah,
man.
seriously. No doubt.
All right, Sean, it's time for us to give some of the angles that we like here today. I'm going to start, if you don't mind. I go right to Sunday Night Football. And, Sean, I'm torn. I'm torn because it can't be this easy, right? Bengals minus 3.5. It can't be this easy. We know what the story is going to be. You know where the Bengals are. They start slow. They come back. They go on their little push. It's the Giants in a spot. They're at home. You think they can do something. How many home games do the Giants need to lose in a big spot before we know? Sean, I'm walking into this, aren't I? And that hook is telling me that I'm walking into it. I know this right away. So everyone, please don't be mad at me. But they set the trap out there, and I'm going to be that guy that's going to run under there and grab the cheese and get caught in the claw. Because it's Burrow. They have to have it. You know the Bengals are going to rip off 4 of the next 5. It's an absolute guarantee. I may be walking into this, Sean, but I know who they are. I know what's going to happen. I'm taking the Bengals tonight, minus the 3.5.
Well, you mentioned when Pete came on, let's make the people some money. People are about to make money with my pick because I've been dead wrong all year. So if you do the opposite, chances are you're going to do it. I brought up my quizzical one earlier, Neil. 7 points is too much. Maybe I'm giving Washington too much credit. Maybe I'm giving Jaden Daniels too much credit. I think 7 points is too much. Can I throw mine out there? And I feel the exact same way that you do about this one, Neil. Rattler gets the start, right? Carr's out. Rattler gets the start. I think Tampa's a pretty good team. I really do. I think Tampa's a pretty good team. They're only giving, Pete, you can fact check me. I think it was 3.5 the last I saw.
Yes, sir.
Tampa's only given 3.5 with Spencer Rattler at the quarterback.
On the road.
Am I missing something? And I know it's on the road. Spencer Rattler's the quarterback.
Right.
Okay, you guys saw it. Spencer Rattler can't throw. So I'm going to go grab that big piece of cheese. I'm going to gleefully give 3.5 points. I think Tampa wins by double digits in that game, Neil. I really do. I think that literal of Spencer Rattler. I really do. Carr had his cute little magic. It seems like every year Carr has a magic here, magic there, and then he goes back to being what he is. But man, 3.5 in that game. I think it's a pretty good Tampa team. I'm going to go ahead and lay the points down. I know the theory about the road favorite, but man, 3.5 against Spencer Rattler. I'm going to do it.
Sean, you know the math says one of us are guaranteed to lose, right?
Oh, I'd bet on me, but
one of us are guaranteed to. It's that hook.
Yep.
That hook tells you all you need to know, man. It's like an alarm. It's absolutely like an alarm. But hey, Sean and I both we're gonna walk right into it. Okay, it's time for the Lions opponent flashback. And Sean, I'm taking you back to 1992, January 5th. A young kid, Neil Rule, was in the building with his dad. The playoffs, the Lions were back. You brought up the phrase earlier. You'll see a lot from these two teams over the course of the 90s, and Pat Summerall was half right. But on that day, Sean, it was magical. Barry Sanders, the 47-yard touchdown run, he only had 69 yards for the game, but Eric Kramer sliced and diced.
Sean, I couldn't hear a thing. There was this noise that I'll never forget it. It was like one of those, it sent like pain down your neck. And remember, he did the walk-in backwards and everything. It just absolutely phenomenal. A wonderful memory. I'll never forget it.
How elite was NFL primetime back in the day too? I'm looking at that score graphic on the screen with the helmets and all that stuff. Remember that?
Yeah, it really was. Hey, listen, that was can't miss television a lot longer than any of us want to admit. It really was. It was can't miss television. It was like I had to be sitting down at 7 o'clock to watch Boomer and TJ. For so many years of my life, it really was.
So elite, man. It's still so elite. It's absolutely still elite. Bob Swift, great duo right now. You guys are awesome together. Bob, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Well, Sean, we're getting ready to ride off here. Break it down, man. How does it play out?
I'm going to say this is going to be one of those games, much like the game out in the desert. I just think the Lions are going to stay 2 scores ahead pretty much the whole game. I don't think that this is going to be an absolute pounding in regards to a score. I think it's going to be an absolute pounding in regards to the physical intimidation that they do to an inferior team. Neil, I said it earlier. I'll say it. 27-17 for the sake of an argument. Somewhere in that area where there's just always 2 scores up in this game and you're never worried about this one.
No, that's kind of where I am with it too. 28-24, 28-21. And again, 28-24 can be constructed a lot of different ways. It can be 28-17 in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes to go, but a team uses up their timeout. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure, yeah.
It'll be a one score game. We know that it's a 1-score league. All of it. I do want to see some pain put on the Cowboys, though. I do, and I'm tired of hearing about them. I've been tired of hearing about them. I was a little more animated about it at the open of the show. I've kind of calmed down since then, but still, just for this football team today, this is another take care of business type thing. The Dallas Cowboys are not the Detroit Lions. They're not. They're not on that level. They're not on that level from a management perspective. They're not on their level from a talent perspective. They're not at their level at the running back spot. You can go down the list. They are just not equal to the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't want to hear about officiating and refs. And people were doing that. They were talking about that and bringing it up. You take that off the table with what you do today. And, it's very, very simple. Just beat this team and keep it pushing. Just beat a regular team, because that's what the Dallas Cowboys are. They're just a regular NFL team, and you beat them today. You keep it pushing. We go to Minnesota, and then we get to talk Vikings fans. Next Sunday, Vikings fans. I'll be back there. We'll be in studio, and I'll be there all day long, everybody. All the Vikings fans, get ready for it. I can't wait. But Lions do the light work here against the Cowboys, and then we get to go do it Minnesota next week. So anybody else got anything for the good of the group?
Dallas Cowboys are winless at home. That's the only thing. Just be careful with your bets tonight.
Hey, Lions all the way for me, no doubt.
No, and Pete, I'm with you on that. That does. If you want a concern for me, they haven't won a home game yet.
That's correct. And so they'll be willing to play. It'll be a close game.
100%. So and that's where my 1-score thing comes into play. All right. So appreciate everybody. A lot of moving parts today, and everybody was phenomenal. JB Smoove, good stuff. Pete Spivak, good stuff as well. Sean Belizian, my guy, rock solid as always. The chat, we appreciate you all. And make sure you share it with your friends. Tell them the best Lions pregame show is not on the flagship station. It is not on a TV network. It is right here on the Woodward Sports Network. For everybody at the studio, my name is Neil Rule. Thanks for tapping in. Hey, Pistons Warriors tonight after the Lions game. WWJ 950. I'll be on the call. Thanks for watching, everybody. Well, see you later.